Welcome back to our unique program where we focus on enriching your life in profound ways. A gentleman named Jay wrote this to us after finishing this course. I'm so grateful that I'm part of your community. I've been following RLT for a number of years, and just this last June, decided to really focus on learning to be and becoming a disciplined trader. We hope you see and find the immense benefits in this entire program. I'll see you at the end of the class to give you the rest of what Jay said to us.
Live from Buck Island, British Virgin Islands. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of Master Yourself, Master the Markets, Real Life Trading Psychology. Boys and girls, friends and family, team and fans from around the entire world. Thank you so much for being here and coming back for another mentally liberating version of this particular program. Joseph says, I've been looking forward to this all day. Incredible. I really appreciate that, ma'am. Laura says, are these being recorded? Only if you are breathing. So if that doesn't happen, then no. But if it does, then yes. Jay says, this is better than my job. I love it. Well, thank you so much. I'm just absolutely thrilled to be here. There were so many. True story. I've had to charge my phone twice today because last night, I think there was the most commented video. This particular class 1, it was the most commented video we've ever had in the first 24 hours. The most viewed video. It was just so inspiring to see how much people enjoyed just talking about the markets, talking about the psychology, talking about beliefs, fears, things that are holding us back. And we're going to be doing it again in this particular program in class. So here we go. Homework. Who did you forgive from class 1? Now, you don't have to type in a name into the chat pane, but type in like was it a friend or a family member? Was it yourself? Was it someone that you knew? For me, it was someone from all the way back in 6th grade who used to bully me a little bit. And I did a little bit of meditation and I realized I haven't forgiven that person yet. So I forgave that person and fell asleep beautifully. Got an old boss. We got a dad. We got myself, my former closest friends. We got myself and my family. This is good. We got someone says my mother, brother, ex-close friend, an old friend. I love it. And again, I'm not saying you have to do this every single day by any means, but that forgiveness sounds crazy. But if you can go back in time and just remove whatever kind of blocks you have from seeking abundance and peace, why would you not do it? It's liberating. It's helpful. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that with me, my friends. I really appreciate that. Tonight's program, I'm going to be describing and talking about, is the market controlled by greed and fear? And I will be describing tonight and talking about and discussing people's emotions and how it relates to the market, people's thoughts and how other people view the market, and kind of describing it and talking about it and understanding it and really getting ingrained into what all of this is and how it all works. Jay says greed is a type of fear. I would agree with that. Yep. Joseph says, I started today with the abundance of time mindset. This has been the most relaxing day I've had in years. Ah, I love it. I love it. So good, man. Me too. And I was still able to accomplish a lot. I was able to get a lot done today. Pretty relaxing day, though, to say the least. Great news. So this is where we're at. We're at module 2. Now, here's the crazy part. I know you guys thought that the first class was good. A lot of you, I got a lot of good comments like, oh, first class was amazing, changed my life. And it was amazing. The thing is, they're going to get progressively better and bigger and bigger. What about this? Who here wants to talk about work-life balance? And that's going to be right after this one. What's really holding you back? Whew, get ready for that one. If I don't cry in that, oh man, that's not going to happen. And then healthy, wealthy, and wise, module 5. And at the end of every single one of these, we will be talking about and working with both myself, Svetlana, Anil, and doing some coaching, reaching out to people that are out there. So make sure your microphone is on and you're ready to talk, because it could be you. If you were here and we get to the end, it could be you. All right. Why do you trade? Let's talk about this one for a moment. Why? Why do we trade? Now, we have the first answer. As soon as I said it, was because I love it. It's a good answer. It's a really good answer. What else, though? Why else do you trade? Like, what's the big one? The big one. Now, Joseph has a good one. And Joseph says, because I want to be financially free to pursue my dreams. And then right under that, Michael says, I want to provide a better life for my family. Sean says, the pursuit of freedom. Frank says, because I want to free up time. We have retirement to better the lives of people around us. Laura says, financial control of my funds. Now, here's the thing. All of those can be done without trading, right? Stock market is only one very small avenue to financial freedom. But here's what I want all of us to work on during this program tonight and future classes is to create you have your why, but most people's why is going to revolve around money, right? Financial freedom. That's what most people's why is going to be. Most people is going to be like, I want to create financial freedom. I want to be totally and financially abundant. I want to have all of the monies. Do you want me to really hurt your feelings for a second? That's not a good enough reason. That's the reason that everyone has. Like, yeah, who doesn't want financial freedom? Who doesn't want that? Everyone wants that. What you and what we have to do together is we have to create the future vision of after this. We have to create the after you're financially free. What are you doing? You know, like after that, when you become financially free, how are you improving the lives of others? Whose lives are you improving exactly, and how are you doing it? That's something that we really need to think about. I mean, so for example, let's say you're like, I want financial freedom. Okay, cool. So does everybody. High five. It's a good pursuit. It's definitely a great why. It's really good. But what if you said your dream was to create an organization that takes men and women who are homeless off the streets, give them a home, creates a mechanism of teaching them financial literacy so that when they go back into the workforce or back into the world, they have a better pillar of foundational support on which to stand. My question, is that a stronger vision than just having financial freedom? I'm not saying that has to be yours. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that. But one of my business partners, her name is Brittany Turner. And if you guys heard the Broke to Woke podcast, you know a lot about Brittany. But one of her missions and goals is she wants to work with and build a foundation for 13 developing nations so that they have clean water, secured health, and renewable energy totally for free. Meaning they don't have to pay anything for it. She just gives it to them. That's what she wants to do. That's one of her whys. That's one of her drives. It's a big one. Ryan says, much like what Akon did. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Now, it can be a very pinpoint thing. It could be for your church. It could be for your community. It could be whatever other seed that you want. It could be for your family. Joseph, I really like yours. I'm going to unmute you for a second, Joseph. And now, the reason I know what Joseph's is, he's one of my coaching students. and he pays me handsomely, very handsomely, to work with him. And I love this guy. We've become very good friends. And I think I love, if it's the dream that you have, Joseph, I believe I know what it is. And if I'm wrong, remind me, but I believe it has to do with working with children who can't hear, the deaf community. So if that's the one that I'm thinking of, I will unmute you and you can just tell us a little bit about what it is. And every one of us can find out and determine if Joseph has a shot at making this happen. So Joseph, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Awesome.
By the way, I'm gonna dive into it really quick. I want everyone to know that everyone so far, your audio has been incredible. Every single person's audio has been on point. So Joseph, thanks for having just the most serene audio of all time.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. This is my part of the whole process.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the dreams, and this was actually inspired by one of my cast members who has 2 deaf children. And what we want to do is we want to actually create the ability for the deaf community to be able to play Dungeons and Dragons and bring that creativity into light, because unfortunately right now most of it is done by by audio, by talking. So we're actually working on a little project, and we're still working out all the kinks on that, to eventually make it to where all of the kids and the community can actually play Dungeons and Dragons through other means and have another form of creativity. That's one of the pieces of the creativity dream that I want to create.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, how pinpoint and specific is that? I mean, there's an action, there's a requirement, there's a direct group and community of people. I think it's phenomenal. So with that type of direction, with that type of focus, how likely is it that Joseph's going to hit that? What would you say, man? How likely is that going to occur? Edward says 9.9 out of 10. You still there, Joe? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm still here. I can hear you.
What do you think? What's the likelihood of this going to happen?
1,000%.
Yeah, because it's a big why, and that's a reason that you trade, because you're going to use trading profits and profits from cryptocurrencies and stocks and options to fund your avenues, your ventures, your companies, so that you can fulfill that dream.
Exactly.
When's it going to happen?
I don't want to stop there.
What's the date?
The projection is in the next 5 years. Hopefully sooner, but I'm trying to be realistic.
Yeah, next 5 years, that can work. That can work. I love it. Darian says just the fact that it's a specific goal is almost guaranteed. Yep. What's your next one? You said that's the beginning one.
Well, I want to do even more than that. I really do strongly believe in the idea of universal basic income. And I really want to do that for artists. There are writers, there are painters, there are poets, anything that has to do with creativity. They're stifled by the process of having to work to survive. So if there is a way to set up a universal basic income so that all artists, all they would have to do is produce work to be able to get paid in some sort of token, like a cryptocurrency token or an art token, and then their work is then resubmitted to the community and outside of the community to be resold, and then those funds are re-administered back through the entire community of artists, so that everybody, all artists, have an opportunity to create and express themselves without fear of not being able to put food on the table and roof over their heads. That's like one of my ultimate goals.
Yeah, love it. Now, here's the one thing I'm going to challenge you with directly is when you mentioned the 5 years for the children, and that is obviously a huge goal. And a lot of us will come up with the goals and these aspirations that are just astronomical. And they're like, okay, when I hit this amount of money, this is what I'm going to do. Just keep in mind that you can do very, very, very small pieces of that now. You can help one child. You can help one artist. It doesn't have to be all of them. It can just be starting with one now, to find out if you like it, to find out how much drive it gives you, to fulfill that need, to fulfill that drive. Because if you do love it, you're encouraged by it, you see it being fulfilled, you see it happening in place, rather than waiting 4 or 5 years from now to do it in a bigger way. you can start doing it in a smaller way now, because what will happen is it will create a ripple effect. You'll get so excited about it. You'll tell somebody, you'll get sponsors, you'll get companies, you'll get friends, you'll get other people that will join you to do it, because you're creating a movement. And it can start happening a lot faster, a lot quicker.
In fact, I'm already starting to do that.
Beautiful.
There are several individuals that are in the podcast community that don't have the means or the know-how to be able to create what they want to, and money is an issue. So I've been showing them how to do the things that they need to do without relying heavily on money to accomplish the same goals. And I've been doing it completely for free, and just reaching out and saying, I'm here as a free mentor for any of your audio issues or the basic necessities, because that's what I can offer. And I got a smiley face for it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing currently. And I'm growing a community out of that, which is phenomenal.
So proud of you, man. Dude, I'm so excited to see how far you can stretch your wings. See all the people that you're going to help. Thank you,
Thank
Joseph.
you. Well, thank you for being such an inspiration.
Of course, my friend. Of course. Ladies and gentlemen, get it up for Joseph Legendary Musso, as your boy is just, that's a why, ladies and gentlemen. That's a why. So we're going to talk a little bit about your homework as we get closer to it, but I do want us to have some big whys, some really, really specific dreams. Sit down for a little bit and just think of who you can help and how you can help them. And don't get overwhelmed by the fear of it not happening. Don't get overwhelmed by the fear and the size at which you're dreaming, because you're going to want to start somewhere. You're going to want to help someone. And even if you do absolutely nothing other than help one person, albeit a homeless person, a drug addict, someone who can't hear, someone who can't see, someone who is financially despondent, someone who is in a developing nation. If you can just help one person, do you think that one person can create an impact for one other person? And that could be a ripple effect for your life. Those are the whys, my friends. Because again, yes, keep in mind, everyone wants financial freedom for your family. All of us. It's a given. It's such a given that you have to dream bigger. You have to think differently. You have to create something in your mind. And if you want some book suggestions that can also help you a little bit with some of these big pieces and some of these really amazing things, your boy is here again tonight. But if you guys do not buy this book, you are missing out on a massive aspect of your life. Anil Gupta, Immediate Happiness, such a great book. And he'll be here again tonight to help create some more breakthroughs. The Book of Joy by the 14th Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. That's a great one. Daring Greatly by my girl, Brene Brown. And then Start With Why by Simon Sinek. So 4 great books. A lot of people love going to these classes and asking about book suggestions. So I want to make them a kind of a highlight to the class. So there you go. Magical Mark says, as Michael Phelps once says, you can't put a limit on anything. The more you dream, the farther you get. Mm-hmm. Get it, Phelps? Get it. So greed, this particular aspect, I don't know what this thumbnail is supposed to be, but it's in there. We've heard the term very frequently. The market is controlled by fear and greed. And I hear it a lot. I hear a lot of people say that I held this trade for too long because I was greedy, or I got in at this particular price because I was greedy, or I'm holding this particular trade because I'm greedy. Greed, and I think all of you by this point know my thoughts on this, but I really don't think the majority of market participants are greedy. I think they're just really optimistic. I think they're financially zealous. I think that they really, in their heart of hearts, 98% of all stock market traders want to make money so they can give it to their wife or husband, so they can give it to their mom or dad, so they can give it to their aunt or uncles, brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews, building a house, paying off debt, buying cars, helping their family, taking trips, doing things that are remarkable for their family. And by definition, that's not greed. Greed is only making money for you. Now, we have one amazing person who was writing to me earlier last night, and she mentions right now in the chat pane that greed is fear. What are your thoughts on that? Tell me why greed is fear. What fear does greed underline? So Jean says greed is a belief. Jay says greed is the fear of missing out. John says you're afraid of being perceived as greedy. That one's a great one. Yeah. Chris says you won't have enough. Nancy says the opportunity won't happen again. John says there are a lot of common myths made into statements like this. Yes, I fully agree. Tracy says because you're afraid of having nothing. Eve says the fear of not having enough. Well, I mean, in essence, fully agree. But here's another aspect of greed. Greed, like, I mean, at its state, is someone who wants so much because it's a state of the soul. It's an insecurity and a fear of vulnerability is really in essence what it is. Because if we go back to Wall Street, right, Gordon Gekko, greed is good. And we're talking about being greed, greed is a good thing. Make as much money as you can. Was Gordon Gekko a great person? Was he emotionally available? Was he happy and abundant and loving and had phenomenal relationships? Greed is one of those things that's created by wanting something so badly to prove something to someone else that you don't really care about anyway. Having something for yourself to cover your heart and your soul in a cloak of insecurity and hide your vulnerability from the world, because if someone really knows who you are, they can hurt you. And so if you can get as much as possible, you can build a wall around your heart so that you no longer have to be fully open. And the problem with that is when you start really, really feeling greedy, it's unquenchable because you can never have enough. You will never, ever have enough of anything. Money, gold coins, houses, cars, you just can't get enough. Now, the real challenge, the reason I'm bringing it up is because in essence, this was one of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had in my trading career. I was working with one of my coaching students about 10 years ago now. And her and I were talking, and I asked her, I said, she was talking about her trading. And one of her trading mechanisms that I noticed was she would make a little bit of money, right? Her P&L would go up on a trade or whatever, and she would just get out of the trade immediately. And she would hold on to her losers way too long. And so her P&L looked a lot like this, where she would have the smallest of wins and then big drawdowns, and then the smallest of wins and then big drawdowns, and then over and over and over. And I asked her, why is that? Why do you take your profits so early? And, she got a lot of analysis about, I don't know if the trade's going to go against me. I don't know how to move my stops. I don't know where to exit, so on and so forth, right? I was like, okay, cool. And so I said very cleanly, let me ask you this question. How much money do you want to make trading? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, give me a number. Like, you have your account, you're trading with whatever you're trading with. How much money do you want to make trading? She's like, Jerremy, it would change my life forever if I could make $100,000 in trading. It would change my life forever. I could do so much with $100,000. And I said, hell yeah, 100,000, big six figures. I love it. It's amazing. It's a great number. I mean, type a 5 into the chat pane if you have not hit that goal yet. If that's a big goal for you, $100,000. Liquid cash in your account, when you hit that, that'd be huge. It'd be life-changing. It's a lot of 5s. My friends, that's a very, very reasonable goal. It's absolutely obtainable. I promise you. I promise it's obtainable. It's so absolutely doable. But you have to remove fear, and you have to remove the fact that greed is not what's holding you back. We're going to talk more about it in class 3. But here's the challenge that this particular coaching student had. Once I asked her when she was at $100,000, I was like, okay, well, why don't you want to make $1 million? Like, what's up with that? How come you don't want to make $1 million? Any guesses? Oh, whoa. I don't want to make $1 million. That's too much money. That's too much money. If I make $1 million, then I'm just greedy. Boom. And that's when I was like, what? I didn't even, at that point in time, I didn't know that existed. I didn't know that was a thing, that someone could have a number where they would feel greedy. Now, there's all different versions. There's all different metamorphoses in our minds that get created on how we should feel and why we should feel certain ways, and the words that we associate with it and what it really is at the end of the day. But bottom line, every single time she made some money, ladies and gentlemen, what number was she getting closer to? Subconsciously. Subconsciously, she's getting closer to this. Because I want to talk to Mauricio for a second. This is a really, really good one. Mauricio says, I just think it's too far away, but I'm not greedy. So Mauricio is just saying, I'm not smart enough to get there. I don't have the money. I don't have the skills. I don't have the time. I don't have the charisma. I don't have the ability. This number is just too far away. I'm not greedy. I just no way I can get there. Mauricio says, sort of. Well, if you don't have it, there has to be a reason. That's the worst part about all of this, my friends, is if we don't have anything, there is a reason that you don't have it. And it's a fear. It's a fear of something. Otherwise, you would have it. That's one of the things that frustrated me the most when I finally realized, that to be an absolute fact and a total truth, is if you don't have something, it's because you're afraid. And people are like, there's no way that's correct. It makes no sense, dude. It makes no sense. And I go, oh yeah? Okay. Tell me of one time where you passed up an investment where you could have had $1 million. And you know what's funny? Almost everyone has a story. Oh, I bought Bitcoin when it was $1 and I bought 1,000 of them. Oh, interesting. I bought Amazon in 2000 and didn't get out. The year 2000. Or I had these call options on Overstock and I ended up selling them for 100% return. But if I had held them, they'd be worth $1 million. Why do we all have that story? Because you think initially, you're like, wait a minute, it has nothing to do with greed, Jeremy. You're being ridiculous. I just didn't have the skills to hold that trade. I didn't have the knowledge. That's why I didn't do it. I didn't have the mindset, so I just didn't know it. Tracy said, not trusting is the same as fear. Correct. Because if your brain, remember, keep in mind, this is subconscious that we're talking about, my friends. This is subconscious. This is not your normal brain going, oh yeah, I'm going to get out of this trade because I'm afraid I'm going to make $1 million. No. Your conscious brain's like, hello, I want to make as much money as possible. We get that. But the subconscious brain, the part that works when you sleep, that part's the one that's going to screw you over. It's that part that goes without you knowing, without you even thinking it. It literally is not a conscious thought that ever comes up. Your subconscious mind goes, yeah, you should probably sell that trade because if you don't, you won't be able to pay that bill that's right around the corner. Or you should probably sell this trade because it looks like it's about to go down. So you should probably get out and take your profits now. Or for the really fun one, definitely don't make that much money because if you do, you're going to turn into a raging alcoholic and a drug addict and you're going to blow it all on coke and booze. Or at least that's what my brain was telling me about 6 years ago. That was one of my fears. If I make tons of money, I'm going to blow it on stupid things. Axl Rose, says Jay. I mean, I'm just being truthful with you guys. That was one of my fears. It's like, if I make all of this money, I'm going to blow it on stupid things. That was a subconscious fear that I thought I had. Robert says taxes is the best one. That's my favorite one. Oh man. Please don't hold this trade because if you hold this trade, don't. Oh my gosh, taxes. I don't want to pay that much taxes. I have one person saying my fear would be if I can easily make it, I will be easily able to lose it. Ooh, that's a good one. Yep. Because that piece is a mindset. It's a building block. If you know that you don't have the building blocks and the foundations to keep it, what's the chances that you will make it? If you don't have the building blocks to stand on, to propel you, that when you're actually there, the chances is very close to zero. It's not impossible, it's just improbable. For you to make an amount of money that you didn't have before. In order to make that amount of money, you have to be standing on a pillar of something. Otherwise, it just won't happen. Because really, yes, the market is controlled by fear. In fact, I would argue that everything is controlled by fear. If you don't have it, it's because you're afraid of it in some way. I have one person saying, make 1 million of risk takers, then the market would come back and bite them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a valid fear. Like, hey, I'll make $1 million and then I'm just going to blow it away and give it away. I know numerous people who've done that, made $1 million in trading, liquid, 1 million, 6, 7 figures, 1 million liquid cash, and then boom, it went away within a few days, few weeks, or few months. I was one of those people. I did really well in my early 20s because I was a moron and I had no idea what I was doing. And I was so poor and I wanted money so badly that I was holding trades a lot longer than most people, but I was also putting down a lot more on trades than most people that I know. I would put $50,000 on a call option, no problem. $50,000, one call option expiring that week, right? Yeah, no, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just simply saying that's what I did. And there were times where my P&L would fluctuate 100 grand every 15, 20 minutes, up and down, because I had so much on the options. Now, if you guys are saying, wow, again, it's either a crazy story or you would never do that because you're afraid of it. I also do that now, by the way, but now I just know a lot more. Right now, I know how to control my risk and how to get into trades and how to scale in and scale out and have appropriate amount of risk and buy appropriate amount of times. I can do that now, but now I know. Now I have 10 years of experience. The simple fact is, the crazy part, yes, this is what is holding you back, unfortunately. It's holding me back. It's holding you back. It's holding Anil back. It's some weird fear that you have somewhere of something. That's it. I'm sorry. If you're not wherever you want to be financially, it's because you have some belief system based on fear that is holding you back. If I make this amount of money, my family's going to judge me and my family's going to ask me for money and I'm going to have to say no. And if I say no, then I'm going to appear greedy and I don't want to do that. So I'm just not going to make the money anyway. It's easier not to make the money. So I just won't do it because I don't have to go through all the pain of telling people no. Allison says, fear or just not being able to accomplish the goals I have set? It's fear. Yeah. You can accomplish the goals. Yeah, the goals are always accomplishable. Because here's a question, Allison. Has another person in your exact position accomplished those goals before? Like, yeah, they have. Whatever those goals are. Most likely, some woman has done them before. So anything is possible. John says, I'm afraid to unleash my inner self because I would fail, I think. It's a belief, not a fact. Yep. We're going to talk a little bit about that more in the next class for sure. But you know, this is the old Wall Street saying that financial markets are driven by two powerful emotions, greed and fear. And really, Warren Buffett, I mean, everyone's familiar with Warren Buffett, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. But John Maynard Keynes, who everyone knows this guy, famous economist, identified as, you know, I mean, this dude's a genius, but he wrote that greed and fear are among the animal spirits that profoundly affect the economies of the market. Greed and fear are among the animal spirits profoundly affecting economies and markets. Because again, a lot of people can say, are animals greedy? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. If you put a bowl of food in front of a dog, they're going to eat all of it, usually. Is that because they're greedy, or he's just really hungry, or he doesn't know better, or he doesn't care because he just wants to eat because he's an animal? We still have those survival instincts, the same survival instincts that any other mammal has, especially. It's a mammal, we have the same survival instincts. Here's a fact, dogs are mammals. Okay? A lot of animals are mammals. And so that survival instinct is what protects us and keeps us safe and keeps us protected from things that we don't know, from elements we don't understand, from everything that we're unaware of, that we haven't had yet, that we haven't accessed yet. So simply put, if you use the word greed a lot, if you talk about you are a greedy person, if you say, oh, I got out of this trade because I'm greedy, or I'm getting into this trade because I'm greedy, or I held the trade because I'm greedy. If you say I'm greedy enough, what will probably happen? You'll probably inherently start producing certain results of greed, and you'll start to believe it. And if you start to believe it enough and you don't want to be greedy, what will you end up doing? You'll end up giving all of your money away, or accidentally sabotaging yourself and giving all the money back to the markets or whatever. You will do something that you shouldn't have done because you were afraid of becoming that thing that you kept saying that you would become anyway. So my stance is I believe the market's controlled by fear and optimism, extreme optimism. By the way, I know you guys are looking at it. That is the perfect beard, right? Oh, man. All right. So here's a question. Can you make money if you're greedy, though? Because we're talking about greed and we're saying, hey, what if you aren't greedy and you tell yourself that you're greedy and you sabotage yourself? But can you make money if you're greedy? Of course, people do it all the time. In fact, it's really easy to make money if you're greedy. It's very easy. So if you want to be extremely rich, you can absolutely become greedy. And that's definitely a way to get there. I just wouldn't suggest it. Most people who are greedy aren't inherently happy. You don't hear a lot about them. You don't really talk about them. Now, this is one that I've had to battle with and I still struggle with personally. I'm still not entirely 100% up on board on this. Luck. I still have a lot more meditation and deep diving to do on how I feel about luck and what luck is and how it works and what I think on it. But there's some really cool quotes about luck. I like this one a lot. There are rules to luck. Not everything is chance to the wise. Luck can be helped by skill. Here's another one. I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. Now, some people are going to say there's no such thing as luck, right? Some people will believe in luck. My thought is there's beautiful cosmic energies that are going to align with certain coincidences of time, space, energy, and math. And at the end of the day, luck can generally be coined out to probabilities and possibilities of you being in the place at the right time. Now, I'm in a trade right now on a particular stock that is potentially getting bought out by another company, so the stock is going up a lot. Now, is that luck or coincidence? And the fact of the matter is, mathematically, there are only so many companies in the world. Right? Mathematically, there's only so many companies that exist. And therefore, if there's only so many companies that exist, then we could come up with a math equation to determine the likelihood of any particular company getting bought out by another particular company. Could we not? My math people? That could be done, right? Now, if you start going, well, this particular company is newer, so newer companies are more likely to get bought out by another company anyway because they're cheaper, then you can start going down and you can start whittling that down to a percentage, to an actual probable outcome. But if you being in that trade at the time that it gets announced that it's going to get bought out, it can be both luck and coincidence. The thing is, and the reason I'm even bringing up the whole thing luck, is because I used to push it away. I used to say, nope, I'm not lucky. I'm just a hardworking person. Luck doesn't exist. Luck is irrelevant. I'm creating this myself. I am creating. I am making. I am building. But when you say I and me and this, and I'm internalizing everything, you start removing all the cool magic and miracles that can happen in your life as well. You start taking away some of the grandeur of what could occur just because someone might really like you a lot. So I started just diving and really diving. Like Frank asked earlier, how do you determine what fears you have? And the way you do it, Frank, is you hire people who are very, very good at coming up with and helping people see their fears, and you pay them for their time, and you listen to them, and you write it down, and you think about it, and you act on it. So I grew up, as you all know at this point, as a Jehovah's Witness. And as a Jehovah's Witness, one of the absolute big no-nos that you cannot do is you cannot be involved in luck. You can't do anything that involves luck. You can't gamble. You can't say luck. You can't use the term luck. You can't believe in luck. You can't do anything. Anything at all that involves luck, you just can't be a part of it. It's because it's all God's purpose, right? It's all Him that is creating everything in your life. Robert says, can you eat Lucky Charms? No, you cannot. Definitely not. So anyway, long story short, I was ingrained 20 years in my brain to don't believe in luck at all. Just don't believe in any kind of cool magical consequence of any kind that could happen. That's what I grew up believing. Now, what I've done is just slowly over time said, you know what? Hey, cool. Bring on luck. I love it. Bring on the miracle. Bring on the coincidence. Bring on the math. Bring on mass chaos theory. Whatever you want to attribute it to, bring it on. I'm all about it. If it is luck, if it is skill, if it is coincidence, if it is happenstance, whatever the reason and whatever it is, I'm a fan. Bring it on. I love luck. I love being in the right place at the right time. Right? I love what Ray Kroc says. Luck is a dividend of sweat. The more you sweat, the luckier you get. Can't deny that. Luck always seems to be against the man who depends on it. So if you're sitting there at the roulette table and you're betting on black and you're like, this is the only money that I have left and I need to pay my mortgage, please. Is it probably going to hit? It's like, most likely not. That never works out well. Right. Here's some other cool quotes. You make your own luck. All right. That's always a fun one. When it comes to luck, you make your own, right? By Bruce Springsteen, same thing. There's no such thing as good luck or bad luck, just God's blessings and lessons. Remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. That's the Dalai Lama, a little bit of a spiritual guy. By the way, random question. Has the Dalai Lama ever been a female? No. Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know if that had to be a male position or not. Okay, so monks can be female now. All right, interesting. Very cool. Sorry, random thought. Anyway, the point I'm bringing up about the luck thing is if you believe in luck or don't believe in luck, I would simply suggest those who believe in luck in any form or fashion are generally more rich than the people who don't believe in it at all. Right? So when you're saying you can make your own, like literally you can make your own luck, it's like, all right, cool. Well, if you want to believe in some, great. Don't let it stress you out. I do love this one. Emily Dickinson is one of my favorite poets. Luck is not chance, it's toil. Fortune's expense. Smile is earned. That's a good one. Big fan of Emily. I wrote an essay on her poetry about how a lot of them have the hyphens. I'm not going to get into it, but anyway, a lot of the hyphens are just different extensions of different. It's really cool what you could do with hyphens if you start really researching it. Anyway, but this is a great one, and luck is not chance, right? It's toil. So if you put in the work, put in the energy, put in the time, you do have to be there at the right place. You do have to be in front of something. You have to be a part of it. You have to know. You have to have some type of and allow some type of magic to come into your life. And as my boy Jonathan Wade says, put yourself in positive scenarios, be positive, and positive things will happen. It just increases your odds. Totally agree on that. Absolutely. And it can be as simple as that. It can be that simple. Doesn't have to be any harder than that. So, this is a great one. Thoughts create vibrations. You are a being of light. You are a being of energy, and all light and all energy are vibrations. All thoughts create vibrations, and you can change your entire being, your entire essence, your entire livelihood and life, and the people around you based on what you think. Type in a 1 if you've ever heard the term brainwaves. All right. Why do you think they're called waves? Any guesses? Anybody want to take a shot in the dark on that one? Because they're energy. And energies are vibrations. Rick says, now you're hitting the good stuff. Yeah, bro. If you vibrate at a different frequency, you will attract different things. This goes into the book of The Secret a little bit. And I will and do plan on in my life rewriting The Secret and making it better. But the thoughts that any human has is able to be retrained, redirected, and refocused and altered to fully and absolutely change everything about your life. How happy you are, how rich you are, how sad you are, how depressed you are, how lucky you are, how good of a trader you are, how sexual you are, how strong you are, how powerful you are, how immense you are, all of it. Everything that you want, how fast, how strong, how long you can run, it can all be part of your thoughts. And what's amazing, as we talked about earlier, is both money and currency are derived from thoughts. One of my favorite quotes I like to use a lot is, if you want more money and currency, think different thoughts. If money and currency are thoughts, then think different thoughts and you will receive more money, more currency. Now, you have to think to yourself, there's no way it's that easy. There's no way it is that easy. And I would say it is. Here's a very famous example that Tony Robbins uses, and he probably got it from Jim Rohn, who probably got it from his mentor. Shoot, what was Jim Rohn's mentor's name? Not Earl Nightingale.
Norman Vincent Peale?
No. Shoot.
Dale Carnegie?
No.
Napoleon Hill?
No. It's 3 words. It's three names. He wrote a very short book. Man, I'm blanking. I should have thought about this. Oh well, I'll think about it in a second. I will create that thought in my brain at some point. So the reason I'm bringing it up, one of the very famous quotes about thinking different thoughts, creating different thoughts. There it is. There it is. Earl Schoaf. Yep. Earl Schoaf. That's him. My man Schoaf. And then whoever his mentor was, probably Jesus Christ and then Aristotle. Anil Gupta wasn't born yet, so it wasn't Anil. But the thought is, the phrase that Tony Robbins says in every one of his events of all time is, you want more money? So if someone thinks to themselves, if someone asks the question, how do I get more money? Type in a 1 if you've thought that before. I'm gonna type in a 1 into the chat pane. I've absolutely thought that before. I think that a lot. I've thought that tons of times. How do I get more money? Okay, here's $1. You are welcome. Again, obvious point. Let that sink in. Did you get more money? Was your thoughts answered by God or the universe? Now, Hector has a cool one. So Hector says, how do I get $100 billion? That's a question that Hector throws into the chat pane. Okay. Who can answer that for Hector? I can. Magical Mark says, buy a lot of Tesla stock. Yep. Marshall says, solve 100 billion problems. Yep. Tracy says help 1 billion people. Yep. Rich says scrape crypto transactions, possibly. Create Amazon. Hello. How come no one thought create Amazon? How much money is Amazon creating for the world? Are there any CEOs? Are there any people that have $100 billion? And the answer is yes, it can be done. It can be done. So solve a problem. Now, the cool part is this is not the most powerful question that can be asked, because it is, how do I get? So that particular question will give you some particular answers. And the answers that you get, you'll probably won't believe that you can do them anyway. And if you do believe that you can do them, then go do them, and you'll probably create $100 billion at some point. Now, what if you translate that exact question and you think this question a lot? If you think, what exact problem in the medical field can I solve in order to make the lives easier of 100 million people? Which question of those three is more powerful? Now, I'm truly being serious on this one. Is that a different thought? Yes or no? Oh, this is a cool one. Can you tell me your name? Because it's coming through as volunteer. So sometimes I feel I was happier being a poor student. For liquid millionaires out there looking back, are you happier having $1 million or when you had 100,000? I mean, that's not even close. But maybe we can chat a little bit later. So stick around, because I'd love to chat with you about that. Let's figure out why. Let's figure out why you're not happier when you're richer. Because I've been poor and I've been rich, and I choose rich every time, AKA 50 Cent. All right. So this is a different question. This is a different thought. When you start thinking different thoughts, you will create different outcomes in your life. Again, another Tony Robbins, where is Jim Rome? Where is Earl Schoaf? The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. The quality of your questions, my dear friends, is what? Thoughts. That's what questions are. Questions are thoughts. Questions are things that you think. And if you want a better life, you have to create and make different thoughts. Here's one that I think is so true and so obvious and so no duh. Every belief we have comes from thinking the same thing over and over for months and years. An example, subconsciously. I don't know how to spell the word subconsciously. I'm just going to put sub-C. All right. Not going to embarrass myself. Sub-C, subconsciously. Again, this is not a conscious thought. This is something that will never come into your mind. This is something that will never pop in until you really start diving deep. But if subconsciously you believe, I am never good enough because this person once told me so, or said XYZ, or said, or didn't say XYZ. You know, guys, I'm going to tell you a really crazy story that I've told a few people, but here's one. I was sitting around a campfire about 4 years ago with my brother, and him and I were drinking a lot of vodka and orange juice because I like to get drunk and also stay healthy. And we were sitting around this campfire, me and my oldest brother. So my oldest brother's named Jerry Roger. And we were talking about our dad, who had passed away about 3 years ago. Or 2 years prior to this discussion that we were having. And you know, when those really good conversations that you have where you're drunk, but you're not like, it's nothing crazy. You're drunk. You're in a good space. You're kind of vibrating. It's fun. You're kind of excited. And you're starting to reminisce, and just memories are starting to come back because you're opening up your subconscious a little bit. You guys know what I'm talking about? I'm the only one. Okay, so I'm the only one that gets that drunk. Got it. That's fair. Just me. Cool. Understand. So I was talking to my brother, and he said to me, you know what? I always resented you for a long time because I always thought that you were Dad's favorite. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you resented me because you thought I was his favorite? Are you serious? He was like, yeah. I was like, dude, I resented you because I thought that you were his favorite. You were always the one that he would do this with and that with, and you guys would talk about photography, and you would take pictures, and you would play chess together, and you would write poetry together, and you guys would like critique your blah, 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 and going back and forth, back and forth. And we were laughing and just talking about it and just kind of being, dumb drunk brothers talking about dads. And then he started crying. I was like, why are you crying, bro? He was like, Jerremy, I know that you were Dad's favorite because Dad never told me in my 57 years of being alive that he loved me. He never said that. He never verbally said those words to me. And I sat there for a second. I was like, yeah, I never heard him say those words either. Do you think that piece of my subconscious held me back at some point in my life? Of course it did. My dad just didn't fully know how to be emotionally open because he was too scared of crying in front of other men. That's my current rationale. He was just too scared to be as fully open and loving as he wanted to be. I know he loved me, obviously. I know that because I can reminisce easily how many ways he showed me. He showed me with his actions and with his things that he did. He just didn't do it with his words. And that's okay. That was his way of showing love. He wasn't words of affirmation, and he wasn't, what's that? I'm trying to think, like, it wasn't words of affirmation, and it wasn't physical touch. Those were not his love languages. His love language was act of service. Jay says, a traditional guy. And Joseph says, my dad was the same, military ranger. Mark says, ever heard boys don't cry? All three things are correct. I mean, I'm not saying that's a negative thing. It was negative to me at the time. And me and my brother had an awesome hug, right? We had a great hug fest and we were crying about it. And did him and I become closer from that moment? Absolutely. We ended up going to Iceland together like a year later and just, we're dads. Ariel said, most dads are like that, including mine. Gentlemen and gentle ladies, if you have dads, it's tough. And we can easily find ways to go into some deep discussions on that, especially with Svetlana and Anil about love and parents and how we can get them to show and be more open and break down their walls and break down their barriers. But long story short, I had a belief for a long time that my dad did not love me. I had that belief, and that was subconscious. That was buried so deep down that it never popped up until I was drunk and having a conversation, and I was doing what? Thinking thoughts. Joseph says, I think it was just that generation. Yeah, I believe so. It was the World War II Vietnam generation, because my dad was in the military and my uncle was in the military and a lot of my brothers were in the military, and they faced a lot of tragic hardships, and they just had to push their feelings down. And I can respect that. But those are the types of beliefs that I'm talking about. And I had to forgive my dad for that. And it was hard. Those are the things that I'm talking about. Those are the pain barriers, my friends, that I'm discussing. Those are the beliefs that I'm describing. And the reason I'm calling this real life trading psychology is because You have to remove those blocks in order to fly. You have to pull off those chains from your ankles and from your hands, not literal or figurative, hopefully not literal, but you have to remove those hurdles that are holding you back. And there is absolutely so much that we can do and we can think and we can believe and we can forgive. There's so much that we can do internally to change the beliefs and change the thought patterns that we have. So going back to Joe from class 1, you guys remember Joe, the following are the things I had to work on, right? Fear of losing money, FOMO, all trading psychology pieces. So the fear of losing money, I think it's one that never fully goes away, and it doesn't have to be a fear. It can just be an appreciation that you don't want to lose money. The best way to overcome fear, in my opinion, is to create what worst case scenario is and then determine how likely that thing is to occur. Right? Come up with that worst case scenario and really to dive down into what is your worst case scenario. Example. If you lost every single dime that you had to your name, what would your life at that point in time look like? What would it really look like? Because if you can look fear in the face and understand where it's coming from, understand that it's built to protect you, and fully understand that essentially it likely will never happen. And if it does happen, you still have something to stand on. You still have some type of support system. You still have someone that cares about you. You still have love. You still have family. You still have homes. You still have all those things. Once you really accept your worst case scenario and you think about it and you live through it and you realize that it's a fear, it no longer has to be that afraid, that terrifying. Because we're going to talk about in class 3 that most of us know worst case scenario very well. Most of us live there a lot. Most of us think about it. Most of us dream about it. Most of us try to avoid it. Most of us put into our minds what worst case scenario is so that we don't get it, so it doesn't happen to us. Michael says, every day I think about that. Ross says, I've been there. Joseph says, eating out of trash cans again is the worst case scenario for me. Darian says, what if you lived through it, got out of it, and feel like you might be heading back down that road? We'll talk about that, my friend. Stick around. Got it. Okay. So there are things to protect. You know, there are ways to slowly overcome this fear, right? You can create certainty, like how much you're going to lose on any given trade. Certainty is one of the most basic human needs. So you can determine an amount of money that's comfortable for you. I think a lot of you are familiar with this. Most of you are quite familiar with the R concept of risk. And this can be a starting point. This can be a starting point. You can live here for a while, because a lot of people are saying, Jeremy, how'd you get 16 R's on that trade? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, I risked 4. I risked 4 R's to make 16 R's. Really, technically, I made 4 R's, whatever you want to say. I made 16 grand. I don't know how else you want to say it. I put in $4,000 of risk. I made $16,000 of risk. It's a 4R trade, whatever you want to call it, 16 R's of an actual R. You can come up with the math, you can come up with whatever you want, but this is a phenomenal, incredible, a magnificent place to start with your trading. It can be revolutionary. And you can live in that world for 7, 8, 9 years. And then you can start understanding that, okay, the R concept, you can risk different R's on different positions. You can start building portfolio R's and different R balances. You can start creating a system that really, really works for you that can help amplify your results. Justin says, I like redefining what it means to lose. Are we really losing it, or is it the cost of doing business and trading, like paying out employees at a business or anything for that matter? Yep. It's a really, really great way to describe it. It's a great way to think about it, because for me too, one of the things I like to strive to do is anytime I lose on a trade, like I did earlier this morning, I lost $683 on an AMD trade, which for me is 0.68 R's. So I lost $683 on an AMD trade. And when I lost that money, I was like, okay, cool. I just gave someone $683 because they outplayed me. Congratulations. Well done, person on the other side of the world that did the opposite of what I did and made that $683. You beat me on that trade. Congratulations. Then I took another trade later in the day and made $794 on the trade. So I ended up making some money, and I thanked AMD. I was like, thank you, AMD, for paying me out today to play in your arena. Lewis says, actually, once I thought the R is an entry fee, and then I started doing way better. That's a really good way to think about it. Yep, I like that a lot too. So keep in mind, the fear of losing money can be something that you can slowly make shifts on. You can definitely make some changes and some updates, but it all is going to come down from the fear of missing out, which again, never fully goes away, the whole FOMO. You have to practice the abundance mindset. Realize when you feel FOMO that you're entering a scarcity mindset. Just simply the fact. When you see Tesla going higher and going higher and going higher, and you're like, get me in Tesla, I'm not in this one. You turn into like a raging monster. That's FOMO. You have a scarcity mindset. You have a mindset that you're never going to be able to make money, that your account's not going to grow. You're not going to have enough money now. You need money immediately. You got to pay for this bill. It's a scarcity mindset. You have to change the mindset to believe I can always have opportunities. I have plenty of money to take this trade. I have plenty of money to live off on. I don't have to stress out. I don't have to worry. There's endless opportunities. I can make as much money as I need to. You have to practice that mindset and then get into the trade. Get in. Because when you have the abundance, when you have the abundance mindset, you won't care as much and you will get into the trade because you'll be acceptant. You'll be in the acceptance space. You'll be in the acceptance energy because what did you do? You thought a different thought. You create a different vibration. You create a different brain wave because you thought something different at a different time. And when you calm down, when you didn't have FOMO anymore, when you removed the scarcity mindset that you were challenging with, you created and shifted a different thought in your mind. When you create that different thought, you were then at peace and then you're able to get into the trade. And that's it. How often should you practice that abundance mindset where you feel that fear of missing out and you have to go into an exercise, a mantra, a statement, a belief, a prayer, some push-ups in a prayer, whatever you think is going to help you. You should do it every day. Yep. You should do it every day. Start your day that way. And I would say mix it up, right? You can have the same mantra, or you can have a little bit of a different mantra. You can have the same affirmations or different affirmations. But as Svetlana said yesterday, you want to do it for 21 days at least, minimum. At minimum, 21 days every day. You guys want to hear what I used to make traders do before they could work with me? I don't do it anymore because I realized I was being selfish. I needed to help. I wanted to help people and they wanted to help me, and I wanted to make more money and I wanted them to make more money because I realized if I could work with those people, I could make their trading better and they could make more money. So me not working with them was really not helping them at all. So here's what I started doing. Initially, you got to laugh at this. Initially, all I asked someone to do was put an ice cube in the sink at the same time every day for 7 days and send me a picture of that ice cube. That's what I did. That was my requirement. I was like, you do that, then we'll work together as a coaching session. Everyone's like, what the flippin' F are you talking about, bro? That you are a moron. Type in a 3 if you're like, you're an idiot, dude. That makes no logical sense. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? Guess how many people did it, by the way? Any guess? About 7 to 10%. That is correct. The majority failed by day 5. The majority failed to flip and put a dang ice cube into a sink for 7 days at the same time. Consistency and discipline. It's the everyday commitment. Every one of you could go do it now. Every one of you could do it now. Like today, like if I said, hey, go to your sink and put in an ice cube. Lee says, do they have to watch it melt? No, they just have to put it in the sink. That's it. Just put it in the sink and then you're done. Take a picture of it, send it to me, and then walk away for 7 days. Same time every day. Brandon says, that's surprising. Well, I can't look at the entire guest of participants. Would you type in a 7 into the chat pane if you ever had to do that challenge and you're here right now and you did it and you started working with me? I know Sochi did it. Tracy's laughing. The big Chris is laughing. Yeah, so no one here has ever done that particular challenge. Until tonight. Uh-oh. Bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, bam, bam. That's going to be one of your homeworks. Tasika says, I will do this. I bet. Let's find out. Now, here's the thing. A lot of you guys do have my cell phone. That's fine. I would like you to put it somewhere and tag me in it. It can be Facebook. It can be Twitter. It can be Instagram. It can be Slack. It can be wherever you want. You can text me if you have my phone number. Most of you guys have my phone number. It doesn't really bother me. And if you do use a hashtag, just do 7-day ice cube challenge. That's going to be your homework. Here's the funny part is there's 115 people who are in this class right now. 30 of you will finish it. 30 of you. Maybe 40, because we got some epic people in here. maybe 50 of you. Nancy says, any particular time of the day? No, whenever you want. Literally, whatever, just pick, it has to be the exact same time. So if you do it at 10 a.m. on Monday, you got to do it at 10 a.m. for the next 7 days. I'm already getting pictures right now. You guys are awesome. But here's the part. It's, trust me, you think it's super easy. Wait until day 5. And you're like, oh no, my kid's sick. Jeremy, I can't do it. Or whatever the case is. Vince says, what's the price? It's free. You just, I don't know how much an ice cube costs, but it shouldn't cost that much money, right? You can Nancy says, set a reminder in your phone. Good luck. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Set a reminder in your phone to do 7 push-ups every day. It's the same thing. Emily says, is it really just as hard as putting a cube in the sink? No, it's the same time every day. That's what gets people. That's what trips everyone up. It's the same time. It's the time of the day. It's the same time. Paige says, same sink. Yeah. Same sink. Same sink. Michael says, can we pick the time? Yeah, pick it. It's up to you. You guys got the hashtag? You got it down? 7-day ice cube challenge. This is easy. How many people can do it? Let's see. Now, pulling the trigger on a trade. Okay. If you can put in an ice cube for 7 days, you can make money in the stock market. That is it for me, my friends. If you can do this challenge, you can make money in the stock market. It will not be harder than that. It won't. You will have the discipline to do it. The amount of people that don't do it is staggering. It's staggering. Darian says, the same sink is impossible. I work 24 hours off and 48 at my job. Get creative, my friend. Think through it. Create different thoughts. I promise you can figure it out. Allison says, can we start tomorrow? Up to you. Up to you. Hunter says, what was the percentage of people that failed again when you did that? 75% of people would fail. Yeah, it was a large number. This is, the pulling the trigger on a trade, just practice makes permanent. Have a repeatable system. Do the same thing over and over. Look for the same thing over and over. Ice cube in a sink, my friends. This is what pulling the trigger on a trade is. It should be that monotonous. It should be that simple. When you want that type of ingrain in your brain, when I sit down and talk about the sink and you guys are like, easiest thing ever. This Newsome dude's a moron. It won't be hard. Trading should be the same. Why? How is it different? How is that different? It's the same thing, man. Just go do it. Sit down at the sink, put an ice cube in it. Take a picture. Just sit down at the computer, look at the trade, do the same thing over and over. Pull the trigger, get into the trade, set your stop, same time, get in, do it all the time, every day. Sit down, do it every day, all the time. Repeat it, practice it, makes permanent again and again and again. I can look at this. I can look at any chart within 3 seconds and have an extreme likelihood of knowing what that stock's going to do for the next 3 or 4 months. That's why I'm one of the best in the world at this, if not the best educator, hands down. I'm a great trader. The fact is, I can do it because I'm repeating the same process. I don't do anything different at all. Ryan says the most handsome as well. That's a fact, son. Anyway, the part is that it's an ice cube. It's an ice cube, my friends. Trading is like an ice cube. Every single one of you guys were blowing up the chat pane because you're like, that's the easiest thing in the world. Placing a successful trade should take the exact same amount of time as going to your fridge, taking out an ice cube, putting the ice cube in the sink, taking a picture, sending it to me, putting it on Facebook, hashtag 7-day ice cube challenge. That same amount of time should be your automatic, just this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to take a trade. Anil says discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs pounds. That's absolutely right. Another way for you to become better at pulling the trigger, create a minimum amount of trades that you must take each month. This is not my challenge. This is easy for me. I'll take the trade. My challenge is not taking the trade. Come up with a very simple and consistent strategy that a 9-year-old can do and just repeat it over and over and over and over. And start with a small amount of money. If you're brand new to the game, start with $1,000 and just pull the trigger. Ice cube, sink, do it. Right? My boy Mark, how to remain resolute when short-term trades turn against you. Don't look at it. Easy. Don't be there. The $684 that I lost today, $683 that I lost on AMD, that was me being in front of the computer watching it. The $794 that I made was while I was writing the C-Bob with Gabriel. Good old C-Bob. If you guys don't know what a C-Bob is, look it up. It's life-changing. Just stop caring, right? We have to stop caring about the outcome of a trade or investment. It will never happen as quickly as you want it to. It'll always take longer than you expect. You will never exit at the perfect time or perfect price. It will always go a little bit farther. Have automated orders in place and go do other things. Go do other stuff. It's not hard. Just stop caring. Just don't care. Those who care least win most in the stock market. Get into the trade, just don't care. Ice Cube. I need to get Ice Cube to help me sponsor this challenge. If anybody knows Ice Cube, reach out to him and be like, hey, bro. Newsome needs your help. You guys get the point? Just leave it. Just don't look at it. Don't care. Get into a trade and just don't care at all. So you guys want another challenge? Type in a 1 if you want another challenge. Challenge number 2 coming your way. You ready? Here it goes. I want you to get into any trade tomorrow and do not look at it once on the chart or on the P&L or anywhere else for 7 days. Hashtag ice cubes. It's the same exact thing. Someone says, I'll buy 1 share and I don't care. Sure you will, bro. Sure. Go do it. Hunter says, so it has to be a swing. Yeah, it does. Obviously, yep, got to hold overnight. right? Get into a trade. Sure, if it could be one share, that's fine. I don't care. But buy something and just don't look at it for 7 days. Don't look at it at all. Don't look at the chart. Don't look at the P&L. Don't look at the position. Don't look at anything. And that should be exactly as easy as this whole ice cube thing that you guys are saying is the easiest thing in the world. Vin says it's not easy. It should be the same easiness. Chris says, I need to open up another account. Or what about this, Chris? You ready for this crazy one? Just don't open up your account for 7 days. Whoa! No! What are you doing, Newsome? What? 7 days? Get out of here. Hector says, does an IRA count? Yeah, of course. What if, would you guys even consider that? Could you, is that even plausible to just not open up your trading account for 7 days and not looking at your P&L and your positions? Michael says, not right now. Yeah. Are you guys feeling a little bit of a different energy in the chat pane from this challenge to the ice cube? It's the same damn thing. You guys are flipping out. You're flipping out. No. I'm sorry. Ross says only 0.01% will complete that one. Yep. And really, it's the exact same amount of time, energy, and effort. I can do it, by the way. I didn't look at my cryptocurrency account for about 3 months at one point. I didn't look at my IRA for weeks at a time. I don't look at my swing trade account. If I'm not day trading, I cannot day trade. I cannot look at my account. Discipline, right? So be clear on why you're entering the trade. Be very, very clear on it so that you get in, you have an entry, you have a stop, you have a target, and you just simply don't go look at it. It's a game changer. Those who care least win most. So here's some more quotes. The highest reward for a person's toil is not what they get for it, but what they become by it. Toil is no source of shame. Idleness is shame. Shout outs to my boy, John Guyden at GeForce, which is one of the masterminds that I'm a part of. Go create something bad. The reason I'm talking about this slide is it's a time component. A lot of the times, the fear that some traders have, not all of you, pretty much all of you, but not all of you are going to have is you don't know what else to do with your time if you're not actively trading. Think about that for a moment. Let that sink in. You might go, no, that's not true, Newsome, because I have kids and I have a wife and I have husbands and I have family and I have all this and I have a job. I could easily not look at the trade because I have all those things that are occupying my time. Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? Then why don't you just go do it? Like, why don't you go do things that are, why do you have to obsess about it? Place the trade, walk away. Go create something, go build something, go create something bad before any delays. Go write a book, create a blog, article, website, company, building, real estate, do push-ups, go do an Ironman, go do something, right? Go toil at something, go create a hobby, go do something amazing, build something new, write something new, create something new. The only way to have something that you've never had is do things that you've never done. Let that quote sink in for a little bit. # Jim Rohn. Okay. What if you want $1 million account? Does that mean that you should probably go do something that you've never done before? Often? Yeah. If you've never had $1 million account before, you're gonna have to go do things you've never done before. Thomas says, you know what's interesting? I have investment accounts and swing accounts. I literally have hundreds of thousands in and I don't look at it for weeks at a time, but I can catch myself fretting about losing 1 hour on a day trade. Yep. Isn't that wild, man? It's incredible. And that's because we care about it differently. We have a different link and a different association to that thing. Because this whole process is about creating skill and remembering that this is a long-term game. It's like any other profession. It's simple but difficult, like walking 1,000 miles. If you're brand new, if you're in the first 2 years, don't stress about making money. Just focus on the process and developing routine. Yes, you can make money, but don't make it about the money. Make it about the enjoyment. Make it about the process. Make it about the company. Make it about enriching lives. And if you are employed, don't quit your job yet. Build up your cash reserves, pay off debt, become fit, like my boy Jesse James Levan, a financially independent trader. Create skill first, and then start doing all the big stuff later. Okay, this is a challenge. Allison says, I'm printing this one out and putting it in front of me. Beautiful. Joseph says, focus on the process, not the outcome, is my mantra for all of my projects I'm currently involved in. I love it. So 90 minutes in, we've made it to the sessions where I have some big news. So this beautiful woman has agreed to be my wife. I asked her, she said yes, and today is my perfect day. So there's that. And so she's here. She was listening to the entire session. She's just 8 feet away from me. And so her and Anil and myself are going to be working with some people who are here right now. And I want to reach out to Albert. I'm going to open up Albert's microphone. And so Anil's ready to go. I'm going to open up Albert. And okay, so Albert, I just selected you to be able to speak. If you can hear me, let me know if you can talk into the microphone, if we can hear you okay. Make sure my mic's on. I can hear Anil, but I can't hear you yet. Albert says, sorry, I need to change to a PC. Okay. So while you're doing that, Albert, I'll mute you and then you let me know when you're available. Jason says, I need an invite whenever the wedding goes down. John asks, can I bring you on? John, you've been trailing me forever. Let me bring you on, J Bones. So John.
On mute, here I am.
There you are, my man. John's ready.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
Good.
Appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for always being in every class I teach ever.
I try.
I love your energy, man. I love your drive. And I want you to be a crazy, crazy successful trader. How can we help you make that happen?
That's what you're doing that tonight? You did it last night? I appreciate it. It's all good.
I love it. I love it. Tell us your goals, man, about your trading. Where are you at? Where you want to go?
I'm slowly accumulating money. Something you said last night really struck me about not taking money out. I was so guilty of that. And that's something I need to do. And the reason I was asking you to look at US dollar, Canadian dollar today is because for me to take it out, I got to translate it to Canadian dollars, and it's not the best time to do that. But yeah, that was helpful. I'm still was hesitant to get into a trade, but I love the ice cube thing. I'm going to do that for sure. I'll be one of the ones that do it.
Love it.
Yeah. It's great to talk to you. It's been a long time, by the way.
Yeah, it has. It has, man. It's always good to hear your voice. So
yeah, thank you.
Give me some exact specific details. I'm very, very happy to know and thankful to know that you're going to be pulling some money out sooner than later. In regards to like just rewarding yourself, that's always a good thing. But give me the next 2021. What does that look like? What are you going to do? What are you going to accomplish?
Wow, what a question. You know, when you put forth the idea, what about after financial independence? I wrote that down because I never thought about it. I just never thought about, well, what if I had all the money that I wanted, then what am I going to do? Because I'm retired, I enjoy my life. I don't know what I want to do differently. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. But it was good.
I would like to offer you a little exercise that I've done once, and it's so immensely helped me. And if that speaks to your soul, and if it speaks to you, please do that. And the exercise goes like that. Imagine 3 parallel lives that you would like or would have wanted to live. So for example, you have number 1 is your life, the way it is right now. And you know what it is, and you know how you lived it. The second one would be, what else could it be? It can be a life of marathon runner that trains all the time, the athlete, the superstar. It can be a life of when I did that exercise. So for me, one of my life was, I can just be at the same time as I'm doing everything that I'm doing, I would be just as happy being in a monastery or somewhere in India, in ashram, and doing my healing work there and helping people and just being in complete quietness. And then another life was, well, I would love to have 15 kids and a big, beautiful family, and really describing it in such a juicy emotions. Because really, sometimes we look at the other elements within ourselves and we might think, wow, it would be so amazing to have that type of life. And I would challenge you, think about it and outline it. And then implement 10% of those lives into your life. And then it will be so juicy and so beautiful. And so that you are living all of the elements within your life. So as you mentioned, that you just didn't know what is the next level of it, what would it look like? And that will help you to really discover your happiness and your joy as well. So yes, try it out. Beautiful, beautiful practice. Anyone, guys, that really want to see, okay, what else do I want? What else I would have so wanted to live? Do that, and then reach out to me and let me know how you felt about it.
I will do that. That's really good. One thing that you said yesterday too that I took to heart and really did this morning was talking to myself in the mirror. And I just didn't know how long I should do that, but I found that really helpful. I don't look at myself in the mirror a lot, so.
Beautiful. And when you do so, look into your eyes and look into your essence, look into your light. And when you also talk to yourself, and those of you guys who haven't tried it yet, try it. Talk to yourself in a very loving, accepting, kind way. And open up those doors of, yes, I love you. Yes, you're worth it. Yes, you're so amazing. Look at everything that you've already done. And there is so much more and so many more people that you can impact. Speak, yes, look into your eyes and look into your soul. And it can just go with that for as long as it goes. Because when it flows, and then it doesn't. And if you start crying, it's beautiful because you're really touching on a very deep levels within yourself. And it can create a lot of healing and a lot of self-love and self-acceptance as well.
Oh, that's really good advice, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Congratulations to both of you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks,
you.
man. Thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, yeah. Well, shoot me a message in Slack, John. Let me know how that exercise goes, and give me some goals, man. Give me the outline. Post it in Slack. You can send it to me privately. It doesn't have to be public, but just let me know what you want to accomplish next year. Give me some of your whys. Give me some of your goals. Give me some of your dreams, and let's go make some big things happen.
Okay, I'll do that.
Beautiful. You're the man, brother.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So here's the funny thing, guys. I'm going to ask now for an American. Someone who's not in Canada. I promise I have other people other than just amazing Canadians that I work with. It's too funny. So type in a 3 if you're willing to come on and just have me and or Svetlana and or Anil just talk to you and just find out who you are, what you're about. So John Wage was the first one. So I've met John in person. He's a great human being. I love him and his wife, Megan. They live in Nashville. John's also in my mentor group that starts in January. So this is going to be a great discussion. John, what's up, my man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. So Wage, what's holding you back, buddy?
I think a lot of the same typical things everyone said. A little bit of, for me, I think it's fear of like the pressure of success. I've had some success in the past, and once you've had it, there's a certain maintenance that you have to keep, and you can't get away from it after you get it. That's kind of what kind of keeps me back, I think, a lot.
Anil, do you want this one?
So,
go for it.
Yeah. So, what pressure?
Well, I think about specific, my brain puts me in specific scenarios that probably aren't realistic. And thinking about, well, if I do this and I'm successful, then, I'll be in a situation where I have to do the next thing and then do the next thing, and you can't get away from it. But in practice, when I'm in that moment, I don't ever feel that way. It's only when I think about the future when it hasn't happened yet. But when I'm actually in the moment and I'm doing it and I'm passionate about it, I don't feel it. So it's like a weird thing that my brain creates that actually never happens in practice.
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from?
Yeah. Where did the pressure come from?
Oh, for sure, myself. I mean, no one ever puts the kind of pressure on me that I put on myself. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why I've had the success that I've had, but it's also a source of, stress and anxiety. So if I could eliminate that entirely, then I think I would be able to be even more successful and do it while not feeling that way.
So was it your mom or was it your dad?
That's a good question. I mean, my parents actually really didn't put a lot of pressure on me. It was actually kind of the opposite. Both my parents worked a lot, so they were very busy professionally. So I mean, I didn't really feel too much pressure from them. At least I don't feel like right now thinking about it.
Yeah. So you don't want to be like your parents?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, everybody wants to do better than, the previous generation. So yeah, there's a lot of things that my parents did that, I had a great childhood. I mean, they were great parents. But yeah, there's always things that I want to do better. For sure.
So what do you need to let go of today?
I mean, definitely the fear. I mean, that I don't think I need to feel that way at all. I mean, I can recognize that the fear is like unfounded. Like I can think that those two thoughts at the same time. Like my logical side is like, why am I thinking that? And sometimes it'll sway back and forth, minutes within the day or hours within the day. But yeah, it's a constant battle between my inner monologue and my logical side of my brain, where it's just like, none of this is true. Why are you thinking that? It never turns out that way. Like you always find a way forward. So being able to let my logical side be more dominant, I think would really help me.
Yeah. So, what is the truth?
What is the truth? Like in what sense?
What is the truth? You are what?
Oh, I'm successful for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I
believe. There you go. That's it. You're successful and your ego is getting in your way. This isn't about you, my friend. It's about the difference you make. You could impact so many more lives.
I mean, I feel like if I could be successful, but also not have to like fight that battle every day, then
there is no battle. There is no battle. There is no battle. Do you see Jerremy having a battle? No. He's on his skidoo. He's dancing with life. And he nearly had a heart attack when Svetlana said 15 kids. You know that?
Definitely.
You just.
I mean, everybody has down days, right? I mean, I'm sure.
No, don't be so serious. Don't be so serious. Have some fun. Let your beautiful energy come out. You want to help people. I know you do. It's okay. There is no pressure. There is no battle. Look at the language that you're using. This is a dance. This is a playground.
Yeah. I mean, vast majority of the time, I feel like I have a pretty good mindset, but always want to just make it better, so I can not have those moments, and those are increasingly far and few in between. It's more and more rare the older I get, but it's something that I still work on.
So put up a photo of something so empowering that will overtake any negative thoughts on your computer. So when you look at it, it completely takes you into this beautiful state. What would that be?
If I were to look at a photo on my computer and and it just makes me feel great.
Yeah. What would that photo be of? Your children?
I don't have kids. It would be, I mean, for sure, my wife. You know, she's my person. So yeah, I think that would be the top tier.
Yeah. And what is she saying to you?
She's supporting me. You know, she's telling me I can do it. You know, when I have those thoughts, you know, she's there to back me up and help reinforce those positive ideas.
There you go. So have her speaking to you every time you look at her, and those other thoughts will disappear, my friend. I promise you.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I mean, replace it with positive thoughts for sure.
That's right. You want to be the light.
It makes sense.
Anil, do you mind if I offer something as well?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Jonathan, have you heard that beautiful, beautiful poem? I don't remember all of it, but it says that it is not your darkness, it is your light what truly scares you. You seem to me as a person that is very powerful and that can create a lot of light in a world. And that is something, your own ability that is so magnificent. And that immense success is more scary to you than perhaps a failure. I'm not sure that is 100% truth. That is something that I'm feeling. And I'll ask Jerremy to share with you that poem. I'll send it to him.
Yeah, it's in tomorrow's class.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops. Well, you'll hear it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, only because I know that this is something that a lot of people struggle with, Jonathan. This was my biggest struggle for the longest time. Right. That's Marianne Williamson. It's the biggest struggle and fear that I had was what happens when you become ultimately powerful and ultimately rich and you have everything that you could possibly want. Then what do you do? And you have this fear of like, I don't know. I've never tasted it before. I've never given it. Like, what if I don't, all these things, all these fears just start creeping in and start coming into your brain and it prevents you from doing it in some way. So let me ask you this question, Jonathan. How rich do you think you could become in the next 2 years? Realistically, give me like an actual, like just random number.
I think I can get into the 7-figure club.
Okay. In the next 2 years.
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Okay. What about the next 35 years?
I mean, money isn't my main driver. I mean, I'm passionate about building stuff. You know, my whole career is built on creating things for people, software. You know, so I've spent the last over 20 years of my career as a software developer and a CTO, and I've always worked for other people. You know, I definitely want to take that to the next level and build something myself, you know, and bring something into the world. And, you know, hopefully money is a positive byproduct of that. But, you know, I definitely get the most passion and joy out of the act of creating something. So start a business, you know, grow it, have a great staff, you know, like what I do every day, and hopefully make some good money along the way.
Well, that's the unfortunate part is it won't be hopefully. It'll have to happen. It will happen. There's no other outcome. You can't build great things for great people and not get a lot of money.
Well, my career started with open source software development. So I've built an open source project that's been downloaded over 2 billion times. And that was great, you know, and it's helped me in my professional career, but I didn't really make money from it. But hopefully I can build something that actually people will pay for this time around.
Well, you say that you didn't make money from it, but Rich, you mentioned just a moment ago that you didn't want to make money.
Well, I mean, it's not my primary focus, but you know, it's something that makes life a little bit more enjoyable, to be able to do the things that you want to do and
Yeah.
not be, blocked by money.
Why can't you have both?
Well, I think you can for sure.
Yeah. So I agree with what Anil said. When Anil is saying you're already successful, man. You don't have to try anymore. You are already at a place where, and I know you personally, but just in essence, you also would have to agree that you're in the top 1% of the world right now. Right?
Yeah, I believe it. I'm definitely very lucky and privileged and I'm lucky to be where I am for sure.
Yeah. So now the question is, what type of impact could you create now or immediately or very soon that would give you a really, really incredible purpose and that would just fire you up?
I think building something that people are passionate about and love to use on a daily basis and collaborating with people and getting that kind of I love collaborating with people. I love the synergy of talking with people back and forth and trading ideas and just every day waking up and getting to put together the puzzle slightly different to make it better than it was yesterday. I love that. That's my favorite thing in the world. Not just even with software and tech stuff. I mean, I live out on 20 acres of land, and I'm constantly, building stuff with my neighbors and gardening. And I love working with people on things, no matter if it's software or something in the real world.
Well, dude, I love that, man. I mean, realistically, it seems like you, at some point in time in the past, set a certain benchmark in your mind that you're just not at right now, and it's subconsciously stressing you out.
I'd say that's true. I mean, I remember when I was in my early 20s that I said I wanted to retire by the time I was 30, or not retire, but have the financial freedom. And 30 is in the past now, and
yeah,
the next milestone is 40, and I'm close. I think I'm on the right path. I'm in a better place than I was 5 years ago. I wasn't
really. I
wasn't with real life trading. So
that's right. Hey, I think you need to define what financial freedom is for you, my man. Really, really, really write it down, because I think your definition and other people's definitions are a little different.
Yeah, I guess it's not really financial freedom now. I think originally it was. Now it's more creative freedom. I can go get any job making a great salary, but the money is not what's really fulfilling me. It's more on the creative side. So if I can figure out a way to be able to have the creative freedom while also meeting the minimum that I've kind of established in my life, then that's the dream, I get to wake up, I get to work on what I want, paint what I want, do whatever. And money isn't the motive and it isn't the objective.
I would like to offer one of the rules of money. It is universal, one of the universal laws. And it said that money always comes for what is needed. And when we look at that in our lives, we can recognize when the bills need to be paid, money over there to pay the bills. Most of the time it is. If we need more money for other elements, then they come. When we need less money, it comes for what that less. When we need money for build big buildings and develop nations, the millions come. When we need money just to pay the bills for the family, that is $2,000-$3,000, money come. And so when we have in our hearts a desire to help more. We have in our minds knowing that we wanted to help more. And when we tell the universe, I need this sum. I need $35,000 to build this school, because I know that this is how much the school in Honduras would be. And that is really an example that happened in my dreams course yesterday. The lady, she got very clear that she was meant to build schools. and every school is $35,000. So she knew that number, and she just said, I am building schools. 2 people came into her life and said, I want to give you this money. So she has money in 2 days for 2 schools right away. So when we know that purpose, when we need for, money comes. And it feels with you that you have this $1 million, and it's a big blank after that. It's a big unknown. And maybe this week, think a little bit, get clear on what is that after. In which capacity do you want to help? How much it would be to build that software and those projects that you want to build? In what capacity you want to influence and help the people that you want to help? What it would look like. Come with that clarity. Truly, clarity is power. And when you become more clear on your purpose and in a way you are to influence and to give and to help and to unfold, trading will become a lot more easier too, because then you are trading with the purpose, with the clarity, with the knowing why you're doing it.
I'm going to write it down for sure. It's something that rolls around in my head, but I've actually never written down in words.
Boom.
A plan.
Boom.
Not a tactical plan, a strategic plan.
I love that, Jonathan, because think about it this way, man. In essence, like what Svetlana is saying is, imagine, and again, I'm not going to put a dream in your brain. Just know that you have your total free will to create whatever you want. But imagine if you said, I want to create a software company where I hire 15 ex-felons from jail every single year, and I teach them how to code. And I give them a job, and I give them a freedom, and I give them a lifestyle, and I can build that for them, and I pay for all of their food, their place to stay, their education, and their information. I give them my knowledge, and while we're doing that, we build things together, we create things together. In order to do that, I need to come up with 3 million in the next 4 years.
It's an interesting thought for sure. I've never thought of it that way. I mean, I'm so immersed in the tech a lot where I don't think about the why enough, probably.
And that's fair, because you're really, really, really good at what you do. You're so good at it that your brain doesn't allow you to dream. It makes you stay where you are so that you can fulfill those things that you're amazing at. It doesn't want you to do anything else because you're so damn good at what you do now. It doesn't want you to do anything else.
My comfort zone for sure.
Yeah, it's like, dude, no. Don't dream about that. Don't think about that. Go build this code. Go build this website. Go create this algorithm because you're phenomenal at it. But you're not really that good at dreaming, so don't dream right now, please.
It is something that can be also learned.
So Jay, so Jonathan Axe said that he's going to send me his 2021 vision. Will you send me? And I know you and I are going to work together the next 8 weeks anyway, but between now and then, can you send me kind of like you mentioned you want to write down your dream. Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I love it. So Brandon says, holy cow, I've always had my dreams in my head. I've never put them on paper. And I started doing that this year. The clarity and focus on the vision and goal is something that is much like a magnet. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are certain ways that you can create dreams and write dreams and ask for dreams. And that's one of the courses that changed my life was going through the one that Svetlana has created. And I'll be happy to share that with you guys in the next class. But Jonathan, you have your homework. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening and this resonates with you, I want you to have that homework as well. Create it for yourself and build a dream for yourself. Build an aspiration that's a little bit bigger than your own. Build something that's better than financial freedom. Build something that's more captivating than having enough money to do whatever you want. Because the truth of the matter is, my friends, I want you to hear this from the bottom of my heart. If you have $50,000 in cash, you have enough money to do anything you could possibly want to do. $50,000, you have all that you could possibly want. If you have more than that, you are only holding yourself back mentally. Don't tell me that you can't do it with $50,000 because I did. I did everything that I have right now in my life with $50,000. Every single person here can do anything you want with $50,000 or more. And it can even be smaller if you have a guidance, if you have a really, really targeted focus. I work with people and coaching clients and students all the time that say, Jerremy, I want to travel the world and I want to do these amazing things. I'm going to take my wife on a first-class trip and I want to go to Italy for 3 weeks and stay in a 5-star resort. And I just need more money to do that. And I go, okay, person XYZ, how much money do you have in your trading account? And they go, I only have $400,000. That's it. And I need 3 million before I can go on this trip. And I normally laugh at that person nicely. And I go take the trip now. You have enough money, move on. Next, next problem, please. Because we have these dreams, we have these goals, but we also forget to live the life. And so what Jonathan's doing is he's living the life now, but he's just stopped dreaming. A lot of people, we need to dream and live the life. Jonathan's living the life, he needs a dream. You might be living the life, you need to dream. Some people are dreaming, but you need to live the life. Start doing it now, and you can have all the pieces that you want unfold in front of you. Folks and friends, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here for class number 2. I hope this was helpful, powerful, enlightening, and most importantly, enriching. That is the mission of Real Life Trading. Thank you so much, Anil, for being here and giving me your time. And I love you all. I hope you all sleep amazing. And I hope you have great questions and create brand new vibrations and brand new thoughts. I will see you all in the next program. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. Goodbye.
All right, here's how Jay finished up his heartfelt message. I write this note here to let you know how thankful I am of your efforts and mantra of this RLT movement. The psychology classes could not have come at a better time for me. This tragedy has solidified my desire to stop trading long days at work for a few hours in the evening and the occasional weekend with my family. Thank you for all your efforts and guidance. I am not now where I want to be with my trading efforts, but you help give me the tools and the confidence to make it possible. Thank you, Jay, so much for being a part of this community and family. We are excited to see you continue to grow and flourish.